What's going on? Yeah, it's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, and I'm gonna go over an update on my magical musketeers. Last night I recorded at a very poor angle, and it's kind of hard to see the cards. I'm very upset about that. I'm so upset. I kind of want to take that video down, but I'm not going to because that's not the right thing to do. The right thing to do is to update the deck with a better camera angle, a better quality, and just a better view overall, and also change the main deck. I actually modified it to be more competitive. I'm still missing my 2 Caspers though. I'm missing my 2 Caspers and my 2 Starfires. I built this deck based off of what I pulled from Spirit Warriors, and all I'm missing is 2 Caspers and 2 Starfires. That's it. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into this main deck. This deck is insanely savage. So you play what should be 3 Caspers, but I only pulled 1. You also play 3 Kid Braves. This card was high in fluctuation. It doesn't even make sense. I think between me and my boy Ed, I think I pulled like 9 of them and he pulled like 3, and I'm like, that'll make sense. Out of 2 boxes you pull like 3 Kid Braves and I pull like 9. That's just random. But anyways, 3 Kid Braves, he's insane. If you don't know what Casper does, so let me explain Magical Musketeers really fast. All their effects work around activating spells and traps in their columns. That's how you activate their effects. In addition to that, they all have the same effect where during either player's turn you can activate magical musket spells and traps from your hand, which is really it's dope. You can even play their counter trap from hand. It's so dope. So if you activate a spell trap in his column, he adds any magical musket card from your deck to your hand, which allows you to play even further in your opponent's turn. If you cross domination your opponent in his column, you can then search out Last Stand and then play Last Stand in Doc's column, and then negate a play, and then off of Doc you can add back Desperado and then play Desperado in like Kid Braves column, and then like draw 2. It's just, you do a lot of combos on your opponent's turn. This deck is extremely reactive. I think it has a higher ceiling in terms of control than even the Trickstar archetype does. Because even though Trickstars can rape your hand, outside of that, it's just really just a burn deck. And yeah, it's very versatile in what it does, but I feel like this Magical Musketeers are a better control deck than Trickstars. That's just my opinion though. But anyways, 3 copies of Kid Brave. Basically, if you activate in his column, you discard a magical musket card to draw 2 cards. It's insane. I played 2 Docs. I'm not sure how I feel about this card. I like him at 2 right now because it's just nice to actually draw into magical musket monsters. I feel like there's a certain number and ratio you should hit on the musket monsters because you play such a low monster count, and all the magical musket spells and traps require for you to control a musket monster. So if you want, you can incorporate Pot of Desires in your list or any way you need to dig through your deck to get your monsters faster. But yeah, so there should be 3 Caspers here. So I would do 3, 3, and 2. I'll explain Doc. Basically, if you activate his column, he lets you add a magical musket card from your grave to your hand. And if I'm not mistaken, musket card would be the monsters and or the spells and traps. And if not, it's just the spells and traps, which will be kind of sad. But anyways, that's for the level 3s. They're broken down into categories of level 3s and level 4s. Because they're all ties of the Brethren targets, by the way. You play 1 Starfire, because I only have 1. It would be 3 Starfire and 3 Casper. Starfire, you activate in her column. She lets you special summon a musket directly from your deck in defense. In tandem with her, we play 2 copies of Calamity. If you activate in her column, she lets you special summon from your grave in defense. So, search, draw power, recycler, special summon from deck, special summon from grave. So they have really strong effects. And I like that they're kind of like universal effects that every deck should have anyways. I personally play 2 copies of Wild. I like Wild a lot. It's not even a mid to late game thing. It's like literally on your turn, on your first turn when you open up right, you can play Desperado from hand, then you can play Last Stand from hand, then you can play Cross Domination from hand, and then like play Forbidden Lance or just another magical musket spell or trap. And then Wild will put all 3 of those right back into the deck and let you draw on your opponent's turn. And if it's the right spell or trap, you can keep playing. I like Wild a lot. You load your grave up so fast with musket spells and traps because you play them so much. You literally just play so many on your opponent's turn just to keep him from playing. And it's nice to have that Gusto Emerald quick effect, which is really broken. In addition to that, I believe that magical musket is counted for either the monster or the spells and traps. And if I'm wrong, then he still recycles all your spells and traps, which is the most important thing. But if it's the monsters, which is broken, you need to play 2 because you can keep looping them. Like, for example, if 1 Wild goes, after you recycle with him, you use this Wild to put this one back and another 2 so that you'll never run out of resources. Similar to playing double Gusto Emerald and just keep putting them back in the extra deck with their selves. So 2 copies of Wild. And then I personally play 1 Yugioh. He does not have a column effect. He has the same play their spell and traps from hand effect. Then he says, during your opponent's end phase, draw cards equal to the number of magical musket spells and traps you activated this turn while he was face up. He's like Spellbook of Judgment. So if you play, for example, 3, you play 3, right? You use Wild to put those 3 back and then draw 1 card, and then you use his effect to draw 3. So you'll draw 4 cards, and you'll be set up for your next turn. So Yugioh complements Wild very well. That sums up the magical musket portion of the deck. And then for the hand traps, not Hand Trap City, just 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 1 Maxi. No Drolls. Even though Drolls amazing, I just couldn't find space. The deck was so tight. It was just like you have to find rooms for so much. I ended up not running my Foolish Burial Goods combo this time. Foolish Burial Goods pretty good in this deck because you can dump Machine Angel Ritual. They're all lights, so with Machine Angel Ritual and Grave, it increases your ceiling because they can't be destroyed by anything. And then you play Metal Force Fusion, that is another really good target. So that's something you can try out. I was playing it as a filler engine because I don't have my Toon Table of Contents engine right now. I just can't find it. I have too many cards and can't find it. So yeah, I was playing this as basically like a replacement for the Toon Table of Contents and then Toon World. Which is really, really nice because it just lets you play in their columns a bit more versatile. So that sums up the monster count. Moving forward to the spells. We play the best spell in this deck, 3 Ties of the Brethren. It's so insane. It sets you up so that you can just play in their columns all you want on your opponent's turn. You activate it in, for example, the best column to play it in is actually going to be Casper's column. You'll play it in Casper's, special summon to search. It's just retarded. Then you play for the cards playing on your opponent's turn, 2 Cross Domination. It's like a breakthrough / make your opponent's monsters attack and defense 0. It's really nice. You can play it in damage step. The thing is, in damage step, if you play it in one of their columns, you can't activate their effect in damage step, obviously. But you can play it on your opponent's turn to negate their effects, which is really nice. 2 Steady Hands, which combos well with Cross Domination. It just doubles the musket's attack and defense, which is really dope. And I like what mostly about Cross Domination in the Infernoid matchup. This deck kind of loses really bad to a Nunchu. Not Deviati, but a Nunchu to destroy all your monsters. So you can just chain Cross Domination to negate a Nunchu. And he stays on the field. So you don't like put him back in the grave and then he can be summoned again. Then you play the Forbidden. This is like Forbidden Muskets. You play 2 Forbidden Chalice, 2 Forbidden Lance, and 1 Dress. I like these because you can play them on your opponent's turn and be even more reactive and just play around your opponent's card effects. And also if you draw them going first, especially because I don't have my Toon Table of Contents right now, these allow you to they're free spells to activate in your columns. And then of course you play the Upstart Goblin. You can play Pot of Desires in your list. I just chose not to play it because I just feel like there's so much important stuff in this deck. You can't afford to banish 2 of your Dominations or 2 of your Desperados or 2 of your Last Stand because you really play 3 of like hardly any monsters. I think you only play 3 of Starfire and 3 of Kid Brave. You can play 2 Kid Braves. You don't even have to play 3. I just like the draw power he provides. So you really only play like 2 3-ofs in a standard list. 3 Casper, 3 Starfire. Everything else is 2 or less. So you're susceptible to banishing your 1-up. For example, most people play 1 Dot. So if you banish your Dot, you can actually never Ties of the Brethren on your Casper or your level 3s anymore. And the same goes for the 1 Wild. Standard list play 1 Wild. If they banish the 1 Wild, you can't Ties of the Brethren anymore. So there's a lot of reasons why I felt like Pot would kind of rape this deck more than it helps it. But that's just me. That sums up the spells. Then for the traps, obviously 3 Evenly Matched. Obviously 3 Solemn Strike. That's just a must-have. This is for going first. This is for going second. We played 2 copies of Last Stand. It's really broken. It basically negates spells and traps, so you can play it from your hand. And it's really dope. I like it because it negates Light Stage, Diagrams. It negates Solemn Strike. It's just really dope and broken and stupid. It doesn't make sense. Last Stand's amazing. You play 2 Desperado. It basically just pots face-up cards on the field. Play it from your hand. Be more interactive. 1 Finish Deal. All your magical muskets cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this is sent to the graveyard by your opponent, you get to add a magical musket card from your deck or grave to hand. So if they leave this on the field, your monsters can't be destroyed. If they choose to send it away, you get a free search, which is really dope. That sums up the main deck. The deck is high ceiling and formed in the term of control. And it also doesn't really need an extra deck. So this is all just for show. And you do go into like the Baguska occasionally. And then the Utopia package. These are like the only ones you really go into. Aside from that, it might be an occasional Tornado or Dweller. And then everything else is just kind of like if the scenario comes up. Kerrigan for Dracos. Castel for like BLs and monsters that just can't really be targeted or destroyed. This deck has a problem with those because all their effective outs of removal either target or destroy. So if the monster can be targeted but it can't be destroyed, you can target it with Castel. Either book it, then pop it, or then just, shuffle it. Diamond Direwolf. Crazy Box is one of my favorite rank 4s. Gaga got Cowboy for game. And then my 2 rank 3s, this doesn't even come up. It's just in case. And then Breaksword actually does come up a lot to play through boards. So you could just This is a 14 card extra deck. You can just do 2 break swords, but extra deck's not even Mando. Leave your honest opinion and feedback in the comment section below of what you think of my magical muskets. Yes, I do not have my tune table of contents. That's the only cards that I really need to add into this deck. Aside from that, it's playing very well. I just need to pick up my Caspers and my Starfires. I like it, and it's hyping right now. It's a really good control deck, and it's actually going to be seen on the meta scene very often. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells, and peace. I'm out.